Many thanks for your company. In our first story, the Ghana Water Company is on course to produce 6 million gallons of water to the sekondi-Takoradi metropolis after a week of no supply of water to most communities in the metropolis. The lack of supply was due to a breakdown of one of their pumping machines, which reduced the supply of water from 6 million to 4 million some months ago. Although the activities of illegal miners might have contributed to the constant malfunctioning of their plant at their main intake point at Daboase, authorities of the Ghana Water Company say the Daboase water treatment plant, which is the primary source of treated water for the sekondi-Takoradi metropolis, has over the years experienced obsolete equipment and frequent coupled with breakdowns. And Ina Thalia Kwansa has more in this report.
Water supply in and around the sekondi-Takoradi metropolis and the Shama district is set to improve in the coming days when the Ghana Water Company completes a three-phase of equipment changeover and subsequent maintenance work at the company's intake stations. Just few days back, the regional office of the Ghana Water Company had to ration water to pave way for the installation of new equipment at its Daboase intake point, which has been in existence for more than 50 years. The almost 3 million Ghana cedis project, spearheaded by the government of Ghana, is to ensure efficiency in water supply to residents. Water supply is expected to hit 6 million gallons a day after maintenance work. The intra-band production will also increase from the current 2 million gallons a day to almost 3 million gallons a day. Western Regional Chief Manager of the Ghana Water Company is Engineer Mark Teko Kujo.
The present government of the MPP government put in place structures to improve on the efficiency of equipment that we have at the Daboase treatment plant. Now, these equipment are in three phases. It's not going to cover only Daboase. The first phase is Daboase here, where we are replacing the high lift pumps, all the high lift pumps and its control panels. We are replacing all of them. In addition to that, we are changing the pumps also at Busmase. Busmase acts as a backup for our operations at Daboase, and we are changing all the two pumps also there at Busmase and bringing in new control panels as well. That is the second phase. The third phase also involves intra-band treatment plant, where we are also changing the high lift pumps, wash water pumps, blowers, everything. Now this we are doing, or this the government is doing, to bring in efficiency in the system that we are operating.
Deputy Western Regional Minister Gifty Eugenia Kusi, who was ushered around the facility to inspect progress of work, assured the water company of government support.
The government, through the Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, put in place measures to rectify the situation that we found. And within this short time, we have been able to procure 2 new pump sets with its associated control panels to replace the obsolete ones. In addition, we have procured blowers, wash water pumps and its control panels to improve the general water supply. And we have also procured, as the contractor said, equipment for the intra-band treatment plant to create a stable water supply. We have also gone ahead to purchase new pumping equipment for the Busmase pumping station as a backup for the Daboase treatment plant. It is our hope that this facility will improve the supply, as you are saying, and the people around sekondi-Takoradi, Daboase and everywhere will enjoy abundant water supply.
For Joy News, in Athalia Kwansa, Daboase.
Some Togolese are demonstrating in Ghana and calling for an end to the Nyasime family rule. At a gathering at Kaukudi Park here in Accra, they accused President for Nyasime of being incompetent and corrupt. They are, among other things, calling on the international community to intervene and ensure that Fonya Simbe resigns. MFA Dradosi was there for Joy News and joins me in the studio with details. Now, MFA, did you get to speak to some of these people, and what exactly, in terms of examples of corruption and incompetence, are they telling you about the Togolese president?
I managed to speak to some of them. Most of them were from Togo, but some of them were Ghanaians. They just wanted to show some solidarity with their Togolese counterparts. Now, they accuse the president of being corrupt because they say that, first of all, he didn't even deserve to be president. They accuse him of, rising swiftly from being a Speaker of Parliament directly to become president. They say that he was not even sworn in, and most of his dealings in the country has been fraudulent. They say that, he hasn't even allowed democracy to go on. They say they don't have freedom of speech. You can't talk about the president in bad taste in town because you get arrested. So these are some of the things that they cited. Now, they mentioned that the 4-year rule of John Dramani Mahama, even though in Ghana we say he's incompetent, it's better than the 50-year rule of the Nyasingbe family in Togo. So basically, they're just saying that they're protesting today in Ghana to call on international communities, to come and play a key role in the matter to help them remove the president from power.
MFA, we know the Togolese government has an embassy here in Ghana.
Yeah.
Did they have any representatives meeting these protesters, or they were just protesting, just to get the media's attention and other people's attention?
Yeah, so I managed to speak to one of the conveners or the organizers of the demonstration. Now, he tells me that the initial plan was to picket at the embassy, but then the police prevented them from doing so because they claim there's a lot of traffic in town, and so they will make situations worse. But then before we left, they said they were going to try again to speak to the police service to get them to move to the embassy.
And they called for an intervention from the international community. Were they specific in terms of any country or any precedent they wanted to, look into this matter for them? Now,
they were saying that they were actually disappointed in some of the African leaders because they haven't really heard the voices from some of these leaders, and it's unfair. They called on ECOWAS, they called on African Union, and they're even calling on UN to also, as a matter of urgency, come and then help them salvage their matter, because they say that, the president is taking them for a ride. One of them actually who spoke to made known to me that in Togo, you don't have even nice streets like you have in Accra. They don't have water supply. You can't find jobs. And so it's an attempt by the Nyasingbe family to suppress them in the country. So they just want the international community to come and help them.
And how far are they hoping to go with their protests?
Now, they're saying that this is the first one, and then they're hoping that by close of this week, the president will resign. Now, one woman I spoke to made known to me that if the president fails to resign, they will show them, the president in Togo, that women can do better than men in terms of protesting in the country.
And how many people protested anyway?
Well, there would be about 70 or 60, yeah, thereabouts. And they were expecting more people to join in, because they were expecting people from other regions to join them to actually demonstrate at the Kaukudi Park.
I'm just curious, did you find out from any of the Ghanaians who are supporting their, you call them Togolese counterparts, why they were doing this at all?
Yeah, so most of them that I spoke to are quite related. They have relatives in Togo, and they say that they have relatives in Togo, and they all want to migrate to Ghana because they feel that the situations there, are very difficult, and so they're expecting that everything will go back to normal in Togo. So their relatives. So basically, what they're just doing is to fight for their relatives and friends who are in Togo, who they feel are suffering. Because one of them who spoke to me made indications that he started school with one Togolese friend. The guy went to Togo. The guy is riding on Okada. He is here and he's been able to buy a car. So that should tell us the difference between people who living in Togo and those in Ghana. The disparity is just too much.
Thank you very much, MFA Dradosi. There, she was at that particular protest where she says about 70 Togolese and Ghanaians are protesting the Nyasingbe family's 50-year rule or reign in Togo, asking that the president for Nyasingbe step down, or else they would consider having a few more protests. They've also called on the international community to intervene. We'll bring you more on this and some analysis in subsequent bulletins. Now, students and cafe attendants say there's been an improvement in the computerized school selection and placement system after reports on Tuesday indicated the process was slow. The long queues recorded at the internet cafes have reduced. In spite of this, some students have complained that they weren't given the schools of their choice.
So I have some students who have completed their junior high school who tried, going through the placement process and it wasn't successful, but they tell me that now they've been able to do it. So I'll find out from them how smooth the process has been for them today.
I tried on a mobile phone using the code we were asked to use, but I was told I didn't get any of my 4 choices. So I have to come here and choose from the model they've given us, and now I've had mine.
So the 4 choices, did you get the school of your choice?
No.
So why? Is it because of your grades?
No, but I was told the schools I chose, they are all full.
They are all full?
Yes.
So now, what school did they give you now?
They gave me a Num Presby Senior High.
I went to a cafe yesterday, but the connection was bad. So I was told to come today for my papers, but I went, was successful.
So you've been able to do it?
Yeah.
So did they give you the school of your choice?
No, please.
What school did they give you?
They gave Presbyterian Senior High.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
But what school did you want to go to?
Winneba and Agri Memorial.
Winneba and Agri
Memorial.
Okay. How about you?
My own was successful.
But did you try before today and it didn't work?
Yes, I tried.
So what was the challenge?
I wake up midnight, 2 o'clock, then we went to the cafe. Then the man did it for us, so I went and called my friends so that they will join me, so that I will go.
So you've been able to do it?
Yes.
Did you get the school of your choice?
No.
What school did you choose?
I chose secondary senior high, Teshi.
Which one did they give you?
They give me Osu Presby.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah. We are having the problem from Monday to yesterday, but I think yesterday was much more better than today's own. Yeah, I think that's it.
So that means that yesterday when I passed, there were a lot of students, but today seems there's no one here. Is it that the system has improved?
Yes, the system has improved. Yeah, I think yesterday we took their, index number and they wrote the schools that they want. So when we got home, we took our machines to the house, then we did it for them.
So they feel comfortable giving their details to you?
Yes, they did. Because actually the deadline was tomorrow, that's Thursday. So they were in a hurry. So we tried as much as possible to do everything for them.
Yesterday it was very slow, but today it's better than yesterday, because yesterday when you are trying to submit someone's placement, it will take long. At times it will not go through. You have to restart the whole process again. But today, once you submit it, it goes straight and you get the person's forms to print out very easily. And yesterday, because of that, some of the parents were very bored. They were, in fact, annoyed with us instead, but we were able to work it out and do the placement for the students. Yes, and today there is no one here because yesterday was the deadline for them. But this morning we heard from you news that it has been extended, so today is the deadline. But yesterday I think everybody was able to do his or hers, so today there is no one around.
Let's stay on education but focus on infrastructure. A delegation of MTN Ghana Foundation officials and consultants has visited in Nhyɛeso near Agogo, where it's due to construct a 6-unit classroom block for the local district assembly basic school. The foundation approved funding for the project following a Joy News Agenda story which highlighted the plight of teachers and pupils who use dilapidated structures. Students who trek long distances to attend school in other towns are exposed to danger, including sexual assault of defenseless girls. Tuesday's trip to Nhyɛeso in the MTN Action North district marks the beginning of work with the choice of site ahead of sword cutting. My colleague Ohiming Teria, who brought the ordeal of the community to light, accompanied MTN Ghana.
Our practice, we will have to come and engage our stakeholders together with our consultants, who will have to check and then verify the technical details that has to be done in order to get us, moving with the project. And so that is why we are here today.
The project is expected to cost thousands of Ghana cedis. It is anticipated to bring relief to teachers and children who trek several kilometers to nearby Ananikrum for junior high school education. The visiting team was overwhelmed by the plight of children and level of deprivation at Nhyɛeso. Ebenezer Tekpe is advisor for education portfolio at MTN Ghana.
I feel excited and as well as surprised at the level of infrastructure provision here. I think that is really an eye-opener for me. Now you are seeing it for yourself. I mean, you see the dilapidated nature of the classrooms being used by the students, and it makes you think that you need to do more to help the community, because really they need help. And that is why the MTN Ghana Foundation want to come in this situation.
For the people of Nshaiso, news of MTN Ghana Foundation's intervention remains daydreaming.
My MTN. It's your friend MTN in Nshaiso. Now, actually, our community.
Here is Assemblyman for Ananikrum, whose relentless effort at getting the school building fixed should be ending with MTN's intervention.
When I first heard the news, I was doubting, but for now, it has come to reality. So I'm much happy, and then I appreciate whatever MTN is to do for us. The ensemble failed to provide enough classrooms for the community students. Everything was captured in the budget, but we were not able to put it into action.
Chief linguist Nana Yakwatin says it is the first major support gesture in the community's history.
First of all, I will thank MTN for the support. Our community has never witnessed such gesture before, ever since I moved up here in 1968. We are grateful to MTN. This will help our kids who have to travel long distances to school.
From Nshaiso in the MTN Action North district, Ohimin Tewia reporting.
Away from education, Deputy Minister for Information Kojo Opong Nkrumah says the board for the Agricultural Development Bank is in place. He says there are various processes to go through before it's finally sworn in. He was responding to allegations made by the minority in Parliament that Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta was taking advantage of the absence of a board for the bank to approve loans which should otherwise have received board approval. The minority believes government is deliberately delaying the formation of boards, but Mr. Opong Nkrumah insists the opposition is simply distracting Ghanaians.
Nothing untoward has happened. A bank that has government as a shareholder is doing a transaction. At the time they're doing the transaction, the bank board had not been constituted, not out of malice, but because shareholders were still having some disagreements about how to structure their board. And so the bank wrote to significant shareholders, including government, and asked government whether or not it was objected to the transaction go ahead. The custodian of government shares, Finance Minister, wrote back and said there was no objection, they can go ahead, but once the board is set, they should now go to the board for ratification of the deal and ensure that all the due diligence is complied. The minority decides to avoid the letter that the bank wrote to significant shareholders, and then they go and pick and choose the reply of the finance minister who was writing as custodian of government shares. And even that one, they skipped the first set of paragraphs, or the first paragraph. That gives the background I've just given you. Then they jump to a paragraph where he responds to their specific request. And then they interpret that to mean that government has deliberately refused to form the board so that the finance minister can usurp the powers of the board and indulge in conflicting interest transactions. First of all, conflict of interest is a legal matter, it's a technical matter. They have not been able to show if interests are supposedly conflicting in a manner or in this manner. We are going through the process of building the outstanding board. ADB board is already in place. We are going through the process. You know, some of these boards, you have to get some clearance from regulators. There are some of the boards that you need, maybe Council of State, to look at the appointments you are making. So we are going through the process. Suffice to say, majority have been done. In the shortest possible time, we'll complete what is outstanding.
You're watching Joy News Today. We'll take a quick breather. We'll bring you more stories right after this. Thanks for staying on Joy News Today with me, Benis Abubeidu. Tanker drivers, after calling off a strike on salary issues, are threatening to lay down their tools again if transporters are unyielding. On Monday, the drivers called off the strike after a crunch meeting between the National Petroleum Authority (NPA) drivers and the transporters. Correspondent Kwame Yanka reports the drivers are dissatisfied and are threatening to embark on another strike.
At that crunch meeting on Monday, another memorandum of understanding among all parties to ensure that transporters fulfill their obligation of paying the drivers was signed. But the tanker drivers say they will repeat their action if the tanker owners do not pay their base pay and allowances. George Nyauno is the chairman of the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union.
Clearly, as I said, if MPA did his best as it was done yesterday, and we, the drivers, wait patiently, and we did not hear anything from them, our salary has not been paid to us, then we advise ourselves, because we have already reported this issue to His Excellency the President.
When you say you advise yourself, what exactly will you do?
Yeah, we will put the trucks are for them. We will put our tools down, because our licenses are for us. People who are doing that, I'm surprised, because all of them, they have children at home, they have parents whom they feed. So how can somebody's son work for you and you giving him base salary, you refuse to pay? So I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Because if they don't pay, how can they work for MPA for the MPA to pay them? Because once they also work as contractors and MPA, the government paid them, the laborers who work for you as drivers must also be paid.
The tanker drivers' action affected a number of key stakeholders, including Tema Oil Refinery, TOR. On daily basis, TOR's gantry loads over 120 tankers. However, only 3 tankers were loaded Monday evening after the strike was called off. When Joy News visited TOR premises Tuesday, 35 tankers had been loaded as at midday. Public Affairs Manager of TOR, Dr. Kingsley Intribusiako, says everything is on course now.
Fortunately, the strike has been called off, and as you can tell, work is progressing steadily and everything is moving on smoothly. All things being equal, we should be able to achieve the daily target. But the day is still in progress, so it's going to be very difficult to speak to future happenings. But if there's no strike as there was yesterday, I don't think anything is going to hamper. But like I said, we would have to wait till the evening to do the calculations to find out if we're able to meet the daily target or not. It's TOR's gantry is up and running. And if I say the gantry, I mean the depot, where the trucks or the tankers or what we call the BRVs come and load. That is up and running, and I'm sure your cameras have captured it, so everything is on course.
The tanker drivers say they will advise themselves in the coming days if the transporters do not comply with the agreement signed. Kwame Yanka's report for Joy News.
The people of Wawase, a mining community in the Obuasi East constituency in the Ashanti region, have expressed satisfaction about the work of Operation Vanguard and have asked the team goes the long haul in consolidating the gains they've chalked over the past few weeks. The Ashanti region is one of the areas that have been heavily and adversely affected by illegal mining, and currently a fraction of the 400-man task force are stationed in the region in a bid to end the illegality. Speaking to Joy News on Tuesday when the Defense and Interior Ministers visited the community, residents said not only has the activities of Operation Vanguard ended illegal mining in the area, but it is also keeping the community safe. Latif Idris has more in the following report.
So it's just 35 minutes after 1 p.m. and we just got off MI-171SH. That's the aircraft. It just took us 30 minutes to move from the western region town of Takwa to the Ashanti region town of Obuasi. The minister's aircraft will just touch down here on the field, and yet again the mission is to look at the operations of Operation Vanguard, which has been on the ground for a little over a month now, and already they've recorded some successes. And the minister's visit is to assess their operations and also serve as a morale booster to help the Operation Vanguard team to continue forge ahead to end illegal mining, particularly in the 3 regions. We are talking about the Western region, the Eastern region, and the Ashanti region. So now we are in the Ashanti region and Obuasi, to be precise. We are here at Wawase on the streets of the Obuasi East constituency, am I right?
East constituency.
Okay, and so you give us your name.
My name is Kojata.
Kojata.
Yeah.
What would be your own assessment of Operation Vanguard's
It is
activity?
okay. It is very good. It is very okay. I like the Operation Vanguard because the Galamsey, it is stopping. It is not going to happen again because my nephew and my brothers are dying on the Galamsey side. So I, for instance, I don't want the Galamsey to come out. I want the Galamsey to die down so that Obuasi will have our peace.
What else do you expect the Vanguard team to do apart from what they've done so far?
Oh, I want them to be quiet. I want them to be calm. I don't want them to bully anybody.
Have they been bullying people?
No, not yet, but I've been hearing news all around. I don't want them to bully anybody. But you know, Obuasi, they haven't done any so. So I don't want them to bully anybody. I want them to do the job, what the government have said them to do. And that one that we are expecting.
Okay. Your name again?
Kujata.
Kujata, thank you very much. We'll still walk, on the streets of Wawase and the Obuasi East constituency. Still trying to get or sample the views of residents here about the activities of the Operation Vanguard. Hello, you're welcome to Joy News.
Hello.
You give me your name?
I'm Ike.
Ike. Operation Vanguard has been in your community for a month now. What will be your assessment of the operation?
It's been good so far. Like when they were not here, things were very bad, I would say. But ever since they came, things have been very peaceful. Like all those guys who were, were kind of wants to go to people's houses to steal and all that, I think it has reduced, and it's been good. We've been enjoying their company. It's been good. We want them here. It's good.
They will be in the community for at least not less than 1 year.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. We want their company. We enjoy them being here.
One unit of Operation Vanguard stationed just a few meters away from here. This is Wawase, still in the Ashanti region, specifically in Obuasi East constituency, where the Defense Minister, Dominic Nitiwo, and the Minister for the Interior, Ambrose Derry, are currently visiting the 3 spots where Operation Vanguard teams are stationed, ensuring that illegal small-scale mining comes to an end.
I can say they have been good because the town is stable now. You see activities are ongoing, and you could see the small thefts and all those brutalities around that have been that have been happening in the communities have been stable now, and you can see that people are now focused on their petty businesses, and so they've been helping.
Well, to me, they are doing well. We don't have any problem with them. We are all staying together. They are performing their work, so there's no problem for me. I know that they are doing their work. I can't talk anything bad against them.
Have you been helpful to this team, the community members, I mean?
Oh, first when they came.
Because some of you have been accused of sabotaging by informing these illegal miners on sites once the Vanguard team is on the move. Before they get there, the illegal miners are gone.
Okay. You see, what I know is they are helping us and we also are helping them.
The Member of Parliament for the constituency is here, and what will be your own assessment of Operation Vanguard so far? Specific talk about the Ashanti region.
I must say we are privileged to have them around, and for me as the MP for Obuasi East, I'm particularly happy.
Can you introduce yourself to our viewers?
I'm Honorable Dr. Boachi Yadom, Member of Parliament for Obuasi East. I must say I'm particularly interested in their presence in my constituency because not only are they helping in curbing the Galamsey menace, but they are also helping ensuring security as a whole in Obuasi. And with respect to the fight against the Galamsey, I'm sure, and with my own assessment, we are on course. With what we witnessed this afternoon, where a whole site is free now. We went there and there was nobody there. Their station is ransacked, and I think this is a strong signal to our people that the government and the president is indeed on course and on track, and is committed to fighting this illegal Galamsey, which is destroying our environment, degrading our land, and also polluting our river bodies.
Away from mining to agriculture, rice production in Ghana has the potential to meet local and international demand in the next few years. That's a projection by principal research scientist and rice breeder at the Crops Research Institute, Dr. Maxwell Asante. His comments follow a release of 6 lowland rice varieties developed by the research organization in Kumasi. Kwesi Deborah reports.
This is Akwatiala in Kumasi, one of the oldest and biggest local rice processing hubs in Ghana. Manager of the site, Reverend Isaac Asakwam, has been in the business for over 20 years. It was difficult in the past getting farmers and middlemen to patronize processing services here due to flooding of the market by superior quality imported rice. With the development of improved varieties, however, demand is gradually rising.
Because of the notion that, or the perception that the imported rice is made of plastics, so the demand for it now is very high. Again, the demand is high because the taste of the local rice is better than that of the imported rice, because we have so many varieties in the local rice.
The customers, of course, can't get enough of it. It's tasty, she says, very tender when cooked, and has lots of energy. Rice is the second most important cereal and major staple in Ghana, besides maize. Ministry of Food and Agriculture figures suggest current per capita consumption of about 40 kilograms per person a year is expected to hit 63 kilograms by next year. Unfortunately, the rice industry is characterized by low production, low average yield, and poor grain quality, resulting in heavy dependence on imports. The need to increase rice production by growing consumer-preferred and disease-tolerant varieties is ever imperative. Crops Research Institute breeders set out to develop new yielding jasmine and conventional U.S. long rice types which are tolerant to diseases in Ghana. For the first time, 4 out of 6 varieties released were wholly developed in Ghana.
They yield between 5% to 18% more than our check. That's the best variety in the system at the moment. Okay. The other thing is that for rice, grain quality is very important. So we are always careful to select for the grain quality that Ghanaians like. Ghanaians like 2 types of grain qualities: the jasmine type and the conventional U.S. long grain. That's the Texas and the number 5 type. The jasmine type will usually have low amylose content. It's between 15 to 18% amylose. And then the U.S. conventional long grain, the amylose content is between 19 and 22%. Okay, so we have selected for this level of amylose. so that it will give the texture and the taste that Ghanaians want. The other thing Ghanaians want is long grain and aroma. So many of these varieties are also aromatic.
Initial consumer acceptability tests has already been carried out in Kumasi in the Ashanti region and the Fife in the Volta region. All new varieties, cooked or otherwise, receive approval from consumers in both locations. The National Varietal Release Committee has also endorsed all 6 varieties for release onto the local market. Dr. Asante is hopeful the newly released varieties will help reduce Ghana's dependence on foreign rice imports. Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.